The 2025 year is over, and with that, I want to show you my favorite cinematic shots from 2025. I'm going to show you what I like, what I dislike, and I'm going to break down some behind the scenes. Heck, I might even throw in some commentary. But first, I think it's time for a little backstory. You see, sitting between my bookshelf and my Lego set sits my Lumix camera. I bought it for its full frame sensor, its 10-bit color, and because I could not afford the FX3. In the past 6 months of owning this camera, I've created 2 short films, 2 Wes Anderson style shorts, and about 30 short form videos. So I'm proud to say that I've grown my channel to a whopping 287 subscribers. And with that, I just want to reflect on 2025 by showing you some of the things that I created, so let's jump right into it. So the first video we're going to talk about is actually the first video that I created, and it is this little Wes Anderson style short. It's about my character who finds a book, grabs it, and then walks to the park and reads it. And all things considered, this is genuinely a pretty decent video. There is one major issue with it, but I'll come back to that in a second. First, I want to talk about how this was my first time filming in public. This was on a college campus, so there was people coming in and out of the building that we were shooting at. So it was really, there's a lot of, awkward moments where we're like filming the door and someone just walks right through it. But now for that main flaw that I was talking about earlier. Half of this video is completely overexposed and blown out. I owned my camera for such a short amount of time that I didn't even have an ND filter. So the daytime sky just absolutely destroyed the later half of this video, which really sucks. I might remake it someday. We'll see.
Nah, try to rewind that. I think that guy went like that too.
Well,
that looked pretty good.
Did it look good?
Alright, moving on quickly. My second ever video was another Wes Anderson style short over the song Campus by Vampire Weekend. One of the best songs from one of my favorite bands. I tried filming this one with my brother, who I sometimes bribe into helping me. And this again was also on a college campus, so we ran into a lot of people while filming. But I was also asking him to get a lot of complex shots, which proved pretty difficult, so we ended up leaving, and I finished this, this 1-minute video a couple weeks later with my friend Bone Thug. And before you ask, yes, that is his real nickname, and yes, I am envious of it. And now for the big dogs. My most ambitious video of 2025 was my short film called Blood Loss. I knew I wanted to create a short film, but I didn't really know what or how or with who, so I gathered my council of friends at our library and we started brainstorming ideas for a short film. We were stuck for honestly days, almost weeks, but then I remembered something that my parents told me when I was young, that there was a witch buried in an ancient cemetery by our town's river. Honestly, this story seemed too good to be true. Like, what, my little town has a witch buried by the river? I don't know, it sounded crazy, and I just heard stories, so I didn't even know if it was true. My friends definitely did not believe me, but after a quick Google search, it was actually true. And we had to see for ourselves, so that night we snuck into the cemetery to find the grave, and we were fumbling around in the dark, scary forest for a long time, and we finally found it on this little creepy mud path leading from the main cemetery down a little hill, because the grave is buried separate from the other graves to kind of keep the witch, away from the holy graves, I guess. So once we found the grave, we were like, okay, bingo, this is perfect. Those woods are genuinely insanely creepy, so we knew we had a fantastic spot to film. Now, honestly, I could make an entire series about the crazy stuff that went on in and near those woods, but I'll just give you a couple stories with some of the highlights. Highlight number one: we filmed about half of this short film over a month, and I was editing it, and I somehow deleted my entire OneDrive, and we lost all of the footage. Story number two. Now, this story needs a little bit of backstory. Now, per the lore of this real witch in a real cemetery, it's said that on a full moon, her grave bleeds blood. Now, it just so happens that on this particular night, during the full moon, we experienced probably the most terrifying night of the entire shoot of this short film. During this night, we saw what looked like a tent in the middle of these eerie woods, and trust me, no one ever goes back here, so this was absolutely terrifying. Unfortunately, I don't have any footage of this because, well, we were too scared to record anything, but we were lugging all of our cameras around, and we turned off our lights, and we looked across the woods, and there was what looked like a tent glowing in this dense thicket of trees near the river. And we literally just packed our bags up and got the heck out of there so fast. I think we tried recording like a half of a scene, but that night we literally got no footage. Story number two. This is even more terrifying somehow, but during one of the nights that we were filming, I just had this weird feeling that we were being watched the whole time, and I couldn't prove it, but I told my friend Cody, and he felt the same way. And when we were filming, we were setting up lights and stuff, and we heard a crack in the distance. We took our light and we shined it over there, and there was a deer just sitting there watching us in the dark. And it was very scary, and we're like, why is this deer just watching us in the middle of the night? I don't know, it seemed normal, whatever. But after that, we were like, okay, this just feels weird, let's just call it a night for tonight. And we packed up all our stuff, and we were walking out, and as we were walking out, we just kept feeling like something was watching us. And we looked behind us, the deer was gone, but we still had that feeling. And we were walking down this path, we heard a squeal in the distance. This wasn't a deer or an animal that is supposed to be down there. It kind of sounded like a coyote getting shot or something like that. I really don't know. I hope it wasn't a witch. It was probably maybe a deer giving birth or something. I don't know, but we ran out of there and we did not look back. In the final story, I'll end it off on kind of a quick and funny one to lift the mood. But for some reason, we were recording in what was basically, essentially, an abandoned cemetery gate. But every single time we filmed, every single car in our area drove past. I don't know what it was. Every time we turned the camera off, there was not a single car. It felt like we were in a simulation. We would turn the camera on and like 10 cars would come. And at one point, this one like weird guy pulled up in his car, got out, and he was like telling us that he was Gandalf the Brown or something weird like that. I really don't know. It's just kind of something funny to think about now that I'm looking back at it. And that's going to wrap up my favorite shots from 2025. Let me know what you think in the comments, and please consider subscribing.